All right, the idea here is that we're going to spend, so what's the point of this session? One, I would say, we want to show off our products. We're academics and we train PhD students, and I know they don't like to be referred to and postdocs and these products, but this is what we do. This is what we do. And so we're showing them off to you, and we're going to do that for these people in the front here. I'm not going to bother to try to call your names. I'm just going to ask you to run down here, and then we'll go to the people who are on Zoom. And so what I want. What? We'll start at one end or the other. So what everybody's going to do is they're going to give you a 30-second introduction to themselves, which I hope will include what your connection with UNM is, when you were here, and what you're doing now. And given the number of people, this is going to take half of the session. So try to say something interesting.
No pressure.
But then we'll have questions, and that's hard when you're only supposed to say when you were here and what you're doing now. But anyway, we want to introduce everybody, and then we'll have some questions, which I'll invite everybody to respond to, but you don't have to respond to them unless you want to. So I'm going to take this down here and start with Alex Takwa. And
Hold it close to your mouth.
hold the mic closer to your mouth. Otherwise, it won't do it the slightest bit of good. Or talk loud.
All right. Hi, my name is Alex Takla. I was a PhD student here from 2006 to 2012. I had the privilege to work with both Ivan and Carl. I did my PhD in quantum metrology. Today, I'm still a quantum researcher, if you say so, and also the joint coordinator of a newly found research center in Brazil for quantum technologies. It's a big endeavor from the Brazilian government to try to unite academia and industries. So we are doing a lot of teaching, engineers as well, and trying to come up with new projects with the industry and designing a platform for quantum key distribution with continuous variables. And the hope is that this is going to grow up to quantum computing and quantum sensing. And being a student here was very helpful to see all the different sides of the quantum world and see Ivan and Carl leading all sorts of initiatives and dealing with a bunch of different people, which now I have to coordinate. And it's been great to be a student here, and it's great to be back.
Hi, my name's Colin Trail. I was a PhD student in Ivan Deutsch's group back in 2003 and had a lot of classes with both him and with Carl Caves here. I'm now working in the AER division of VERISC, which is the Atmospheric and Environmental Research division, specifically in space weather. So we do a lot of stuff of modeling solar activity on Van Allen probes and trying to assess risks for satellites and damage too. And that's kind of a mix of more academic research and computer programming stuff.
Hello, everyone. I'm Matt Curry. I was a PhD student from 2011 to 2018, something like that. 2010.
Gotta speak up there, Matt.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me better? And I did all of my research at Sandia National Labs on quantum dot devices. And then now I'm at Intel doing the same exact research, and we're actually able to share our devices with many groups. We keep adding collaborations, and one of the groups, which of course is very special, is the Sandia group that I came from. So it's nice to be able to collaborate and improve these devices with my old group. So.
Hello, my name is Adrian Chapman. I was a PhD student at UNM for about 2012 to 2018. where I had the privilege of working with Akimasa Miyake as my supervisor. So from there, I did 2 postdocs, one first at the University of Sydney and then another at Oxford. And now I'm working for a company called Phasecraft in Washington, DC, in the Washington, DC office, where I design quantum algorithms to reduce circuit complexities to access near-term quantum advantage.
Everyone, my name is Adrian Orozco. I am a New Mexico native, went to UNM for all my degrees. I had a class with Ivan, who encouraged me to continue with the PhD program. In that PhD program, I worked in his group for a summer, where he helped me get in contact with Graham Biederman at Sandia Labs, which was great because I was able to do my research there. I've also continued as a postdoc, work in experimental atomic physics, and just meeting Ivan really helped me with my direction in my career.
Hi, I'm Sam Slezak. I was a grad student at UNM from 2017 to 2022, I believe. I worked with Elizabeth Crossan and Tamim Aldash. And currently, I'm a postdoc at Los Alamos, and I have projects going on with all 3 main QNM institutions. So I'm currently working with a graduate student here at UNM on a project, as well as another alumni from UNM who's now at IBM. I also have another project with some researchers from Sandia. So I'm a huge proponent of QNM and all the just increased collaboration among all the great institutions here.
Hi, I'm Chris Jackson. I was here for my first postdoc from 2017 to 2020. And those were the funnest years of my life, really defined me. I'm currently at the Perimeter Institute, still as a postdoc fellow working on measurement theory, how to build strong measurements from continuous measurements. Yeah, I'm very happy that this institute is happening, because to me, it means more people can have the opportunity to have what I had.
I am Jonathan Gross. I did my PhD here from 2012 to 2018, studying quantum geometry with Carl. These days I'm at Google and I do much more pedestrian work like characterizing microwave distortions, but it's still very interesting and still touches on many of the parameter estimation stuffs we did together in my PhD.
My name is Ben Barajola. I did a PhD with Ivan that I completed in 2014 on atom light interfaces. I'm a theorist. And currently I work half-time in academia at RMIT University in Melbourne, Australia, and half-time for a quantum computing company, an optical quantum computing company in Canada called Xanadu. And I guess my interesting fun fact is that I'm one of many trained here at UNM who ended up in Australia. So there's quite a few people, I don't know, maybe they can mention as it goes through, who ended up a part of the academic world in Australia due to the fantastic training we received here at UNM.
Hi, I am Rob. I would have said that I started at UNM all way back in 2005, but I remember starting with Colin down there in our first years together. So I guess I started in 2003. I've seen a whole lot of the UNM and the other labs around here. In 2005, I worked with Malcolm Bozier up at Lanell for a summer. And then I tried to start building a lab here in the old building, which I wouldn't recommend, partly because the building's gone, but just because it was a terrible building. And then I worked with Dan Stick in the audience there on a little bit of ion trap stuff. And then I realized experiments break my soul. So then I went over and worked with Ivan doing a theory project there. And yeah, then I saw Army Research Lab for a little bit, and now I'm at Berkeley. And one thing that I miss being in academic, well, I'm in academia at Berkeley, which is nice, but I miss the community of UNM and archive review and all the free snacks and stuff.
Hi, I'm Raphael Alexander. I was here as a postdoc between 2017 and 2020. I was an NSF or HGP postdoc. I was one of these free-range postdocs like Chris and Leonie and Pablo. It meant I got to work with a lot of the faculty here, including Akimasa and Carl, but I got to work a little bit with Elohim and Ivan as well. And all of this, really prepared me for what I did next. So now I'm the head of architecture at Xanadu, working with Ben and Austin Daniel, who couldn't make it this afternoon, but he's also a PhD student was a PhD student at UNM with Akimasa, and now he's working with us at Xanadu in Albuquerque.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zhang Jiang, and I was a student of Compton Caves between 2008 and 2014. And thanks, Carl, for teaching me how to use all the Greek fonts. And then I joined NASA Ames to work on algorithms, error correction before I joined Google as a research scientist about 6 years ago. Now I lead a small team to work on calibration protocols as well as developing applications. Thank you, Carl and Ivan, for your education, which prepared me well for my current industry position.
Hi, my name is Shohini Ghosh, and I was Ivan's third PhD student, I believe, so we're probably one of the oldest here. Since then, I've moved up north to Canada, so outside of Australia, I think Canada's really benefited too from all the wonderful work being done here. So I'm a professor in Waterloo in Canada, and I've been involved in also developing Canada's national quantum strategy, and I sit on the advisory council that supervises and advises the government on this. And I also get to actually advise various entities as well as the government on questions of diversity and inclusion, which was something that I've been involved in for a long time. And I also learned here the value of communication and clarity, especially in quantum. So I'm just doing a lot of that, science communication, and these days I also write books.
So yeah, this takes us back a little bit more in time. I'm Ivan's fourth student, PhD student. I started out actually in optics, experimental optics. And just because quantum was such an exciting time, actually, around early 2000, that it was really an interesting area that really started developing a lot of foundational questions, a lot of kind of also experimental questions, a lot of like system questions. And so it was a really exciting time to actually pick that up at that point. And did my PhD from 2001 to 2005, did 2 postdocs, and then actually life took me in a completely different direction. So I completely took a different path from everybody here probably. I moved into finance, and it was the financial crisis in 2008, 2009 that kind of like started that. A lot of changes. Changes are always interesting. There's a lot of new opportunities, new areas to develop. I'm working in risk management at a bank, developing risk methodologies. And over the years, I've been able to actually work with like regulators to implement new regulations that have been implemented over the last like 12 years, 15 years now, internationally with banks as well, and also implemented them actually for our bank as well. But interestingly, I still actually work with quants. All of our team is called quants. It's a team of about close to 40 people, very much like a small physics department, a lot of economics and math in it as well, and still a very interesting direction and a lot of interesting topics.
Hi, I'm Brian Tabakov. Let's see, 2 questions. First was my connection to UNM. UNM graduated in 2015, before which I was advised by Ivan and did some work at India with Danstick. And currently I am a program officer at the Air Force Office of Scientific Research. Okay.
Hi, I'm John Bainbridge. I started at UNM in 2016 and graduated last year. I started out my original research with Grant Biederman before he moved to University of Oklahoma, and then did my dissertation research with Peter Schwint, who I still work with as a postdoc in the Quantum Center group at Sandia, where a lot of what we do is try to translate sort of academic ideas into a more usable product. We try to fill in this technological valley of debt, it's often called.
we'll just take a brief break for me to rip for a second, before we go on to the people on the screen. This just reminds me of all sorts of things listening to you guys. The first thing I want to emphasize is we did not pay them to make their comments. Number two, I do want you to pay attention to how many of these people actually did their work at San Diego and Los Alamos, their PhD work at San Diego and Los Alamos. So we've had this connection for a long time with a lot of researchers at San Diego and Los Alamos, and the evidence is right here. Number three, it is quite true that we staff the Australian Quantum Information Science Community, and we don't mention that when we're talking to the state of New Mexico's workforce. And also the Canadian establishment as well. And finally, this is a personal story. I was talking to Matt Curry about this earlier today. And Matt, you'll have to remind me of the date that I came out there and gave that colloquium at San Luis Obispo.
How about the year?
Yeah, the year.
Like 2010, I think.
Oh, yeah, 2010. So I went out there, gave a colloquium at San Luis Obispo and rescued Matt and Andy Ferdinand from California by convincing them that the opportunities were in New Mexico. And it's very grateful for me to hear that they had a good experience after I rescued them. All right, so now what I'd like to do with the, oh goodness.
What I would think we would do is we would, I can try to pin a particular individual to speak. No, that's not gonna work.
So I'd kind of like to, can we just, does everybody see the same thing?
Yeah.
So I just kind of like to raster from the top left to right, starting with
Travis Schulten.
Travis Schulten and.
Oh, wow.
Ivan, do you do the unmuting or?
Yeah, I'll unmute, yeah.
And Ivan will just unmute you at the appropriate time and then mute you if, again, if we need
Need
to.
to cut you off. That's, we're talking to you, Travis, no.
Understood. Thanks, Carl.
Travis, please slow down.
Yes. So hey, everybody, I did a PhD from 2012 to 2018. Actually, I did my PhD at San Diego National Labs where I worked as a student intern. Since then, I currently work as the technical lead for public sector at IBM Quantum, where I focus on large strategic activities with governments to identify opportunities for place-based development to drive technical, social, and economic impact around quantum computing. And yes, that is quite a lot of buzzwords embedded in that sentence there. In addition, I sit on the board of directors of the Unitary Fund, which is the world's premier, I think probably the only open source quantum nonprofit. I created a Substack in 2023 called the Quantum Stack, so I encourage all of you to subscribe. And I got interested in public policy 2022 to 2023. I was a policy hacker fellow at the Foundation for American Innovation. Glad to be here with you all today.
Izad Shojahi.
Hello, everyone. This is Izad. I did a PhD back in UNM from 2012 to 2019 with Ivan. Then I went for a postdoc to NIST Boulder for 3 years. And it's been 2 years that I'm a staff theoretical physicist at IronQ. Very nice to meet all of you guys. It's been a while I've seen Rob, actually. So nice to see you all here. Glad to be here.
Very good. Homa Rio and partner.
Hi, can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, hi, well, night here in Munich, Germany. So I was a PhD student from, I think, 2005 to probably 2011, I think. And after that, Heather and I moved to Germany for postdocs. We did some, more quantum information research. And in the last 3 years, we were in Berlin first. And in the last 3 years, we are in Munich, Germany. And I am working for BMW, helping them prepare for the quantum future. And in the day-to-day time, in the day-to-day business, I have the opportunity to work with many students, like a mentor, masters and PhD students. And I get the chance to pass a little bit of the wisdom that I learned from Carl and Ivan at UNM. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm happy to be here.
So I'm Heather. I did my PhD working at Sandia with Peter Schwind. I finished in 2012. Then I came to Germany to work at PTB, which is Germany's version of NIST, for a postdoc. And now in Munich, I'm working at Toptica Photonics. It's a laser manufacturer. If you're a hardware person, you probably know us. And there I'm working on several government-funded projects from Germany and the EU, mostly with ion trap quantum computing research groups and companies around Germany and the EU.
All right, Jacob Miller.
Hey everyone, a lot of familiar faces here. So I'm Jacob Miller. I did my PhD at UNM from 2011 to 2017, and myself and Adrian Chapman were Akimasa Miyake's first students. So a really fun time to be in the group, a lot of good memories. After that, kind of left on a motorcycle and did a lot of traveling for about a year and a half. And basically after that, switched more into classical machine learning. And so basically the continuity here was using a lot of tensor networks for basically every and anything that you can use tensor networks for, which turns out it's a lot. And yeah, currently I work as the lead of machine learning research at Zapata AI. And kind of straddling a little, still keeping one foot in the quantum computing realm, because when you work in tensor networks, it's kind of a bridge field. But yeah, lots of, I don't know, lots of good stuff that I learned, from UNM that's kind of helped ever since then. So I don't know, really good to see everybody.
Professor Maddock, where it's probably 3 a.m.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I'm Vaibhav. I was at UNM from 2006 to 2012. I got my PhD with Ivan. And currently I'm an associate professor at the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. And yeah, very grateful for my education at UNM, both Carl and Ivan, thanks a lot. And the group meetings, the courses, and the archive review finds its way to India also, exactly replicating what I learned at UNM. And yeah, thank you so much.
Very good. Dr. Rennis.
Oh, hello. So I did my PhD way back from 1999 to 2004 with Carl. So it's great to be hearing about all the cool stuff that's happening at UNM now from the previous session. And Ivan, you mentioned you didn't know if anyone was old enough to remember the Santa Fe seminars. Well, yes, I'm old enough.
Yeah, Joe.
So now I'm a senior scientist at ETH Zurich, and yeah, I really look back quite fondly at on the times at UNM, all the stuff I learned from you, Ivan, from Carl, my advisor, and I have to say also, especially from the other students, I'm really happy to see all of you guys here, Shahini, Renee, Steve, Andrew Scott. I can't list all of you guys, but great to see you all again. Gavin, sorry, more and more. So yeah, so now I'm also quite involved with our Master of Quantum Engineering program, so that we have at ETH Zurich, and trying to keep the archive review alive over here as well. So.
Dr. Hayes.
Hi, everybody. I'm David Hayes. I was at UNM from 1997 to 2007. So I probably should have a PhD from UNM, but I left after a master's, actually. Ivan got me into research, though, nonetheless. And so I continued after I left. I went to the University of Maryland to get my PhD, and then joined the club and went to Australia for a postdoc. And then these days I'm up in Colorado at Quantinuum building trapped ion quantum computers. But anyways, I'd love to thank the faculty at UNM for helping me figure out what I wanted to do with my life.
Dr. DeMario.
Yeah, so I was at UNM from 2015 to 2021, and I did my PhD in experimental quantum optics with Elohim Becerra. I remember defending my PhD in the midst of COVID, down by myself in a room in the basement over Zoom. Yeah, and then from UNM, I went over to NIST in Gaithersburg, where I was a postdoc for a little bit, and then landed at Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Lab, which is apparently the largest university-affiliated research center, a fact which they love to market, where I kind of have my hands in a pretty diverse range of quantum information and quantum optics pies. And one thing that I certainly try to translate from my time at UNM into everything I do is the sheer enthusiasm that everyone seemed to have for solving other people's problems. Whenever I would go up from the basement to ask the theorists for help solving a problem that I couldn't solve, everyone was always happy to immediately stop what they were doing and work on something else. So I've tried to bring that to wherever I go.
All right, Dr. Ferdinand.
Hey everybody, it's great to see everybody. It's a lot of fun too to see where everybody is at now in all of our journeys. This is a great reunion. I wish I could be there in person, but this is great. Yeah, so I was at UNM from 2011 to 2018. I think that I'm in the running for hitting most of the Elevate Quantum member institutes. So I was at Sandia for a couple of years, and then I defended my dissertation, did my dissertation work at UNM. And then I was a postdoc officially at CU Boulder, but working at NIST Boulder. So I hit 4 institutions that are part of that collaboration. I'm interested if anybody else, where everybody else ranks on that list. But yeah, so now I actually recently joined Microchip in Boulder. And I'm working on precision timing, synchronization, distribution, and some other PNT technologies. I guess one more fun throwback from way back in the day. So yes, I very much remember when Carl came out to visit Cal Poly and me and Matt Curry were there at that talk back then. And then Matt and I also went to Squint around that time. So I think it was probably the 2010 Squint got us kind of really also connected with UNM and was a big, exciting part of compelling us to come to UNM, or for me, for sure. Anyway, yeah, great to see everybody.
Thank you. Dr. Mitra.
Hello, everyone. Ivan, that's very kind of you to say. I don't relate to the title doctor yet because I am Ivan's most recent PhD student, having graduated just in May. So I guess I'm number 24. My research at UNM was primarily on neutral atom quantum computing, some analog quantum simulation, and quantum control. But in addition to my primary research, I got exposed to a lot of other things from the CQUIC group meetings, which was a course, in a sense, a foreign language course teaching me things outside my comfort zone, things like quantum error correction, quantum algorithms, and many other things. And many of these things are very helpful to me in my current job. So I recently joined as a postdoc at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory in Berkeley, California. And I'm trying to learn other things, trying to branch in my expertise out. And the things I learned at the CQUIC group meeting and in conversations, follow-up conversations after that have been really helpful. So I'm grateful for that. One last thing I'd say is I really wanted to make it there in person. I did come to Albuquerque, but unfortunately I have COVID, so I couldn't make it. But nice to see all of you.
Get well soon, Anupam.
Thank you.
Dr. Merkel.
Hey, so I'm Seth. I was a PhD student with Ivan from 2003 to 2009. Let's see. So I mostly worked on control and characterization of neutral atoms with Ivan, doing some close work with experimental collaborators, and that's mostly what I've been doing since. Though the neutral atoms has changed for a couple different platforms over the year. I did superconductors as a postdoc. I worked at HRL for about 6 years working on quantum dots, and now I'm back at IBM working on superconductors. And I have to say, it has served me well to learn to collaborate with our experimental colleagues. And I remember one of the first times we had a meeting, and I proposed that if we just stuck everything in a 5 Tesla field, like things would just work. And that experience was a good one. And I have repeated it. So thanks.
Dr. Chowdhury.
Hi everyone, I'm Anirban. I was a PhD student at UNM from 2013 to 2019. I worked with Rolando Soma at Los Alamos National Laboratory. So I'm among the many people who did their research at the national labs. Since then, I went on to do postdocs in Canada in Sherbrooke and Waterloo. And now currently I'm a research scientist at IBM. At UNM, I worked on quantum algorithms for simulating physical systems. And since then, I guess I have broadly continued the same thread of research, thinking about theoretical questions related to simulating many body systems on quantum computers. And my mentorship at UNM through Rolando and all the wonderful classes I took with Carl and Ivan and Akimasa, and the knowledge I absorbed through the secret group meetings and our archive review, I think they've all been invaluable in shaping me as a researcher. So I truly treasure my time at UNM, and it's wonderful to be there, at least virtually. Thank you.
Dr. Shaji.
Hey everyone. So I was a postdoc at UNM between 2005 and 2009 with Carl, and also collaborating with everybody, all the students there, all the other postdocs there with Ivan and others. Presently, I am a professor at the Indian Institute of Science Education and Research, Trivandrum, which is in the south of India. And as you heard from Vaibhav also, and myself here and few others, probably the group that Carl and Ivan built, and that has also a great influence in the quantum technologies and quantum information program of not just Australia and Canada, but India also. And that influence is growing in the sense that I also see other students who have passed worked with me, collaborated with me, eventually went on to UNM, and then they are all here on this panel. So a couple of generations contributing. So it was a great time that I had. It was my only postdoc that I had in that period, and learned a lot from the group as a whole, not to mention from both Carl and Ivan and others. So yeah, great to be part of this little get together with all the alumni.
Thank you. Dr. Caesar.
Thanks, Ivan. This is so cool. This gives me like early pandemic vibes, doing Zoom happy hours with your friends that you haven't seen in a while. So I started at UNM in 2008, which apparently was 16 years ago, which kind of blows my mind. And I worked with Andrew Landahl. I heard, people talk about Aquarius already. I worked a little bit on that project. But I kind of bounced around from topics in adiabatic quantum computing to quantum error correction to like quantum compilation and trying to build quantum circuits out of little widgets. And towards the end of that, I kind of got bitten by the science communication bug. So I was like a real glutton for punishment and went, after defending, straight back to school for another year to do like a journalism boot camp in UC Santa Cruz. And from there, I moved to DC. I became a reporting intern at Nature magazine, and I was getting ready to do a second 6-month stint there when JQI, of all places, came asking for a science writer. And I've been there ever since. So I started as a science writer. Now I'm the director of communications and outreach at JQI. So we do, my group does the news writing. We're responsible for the website. We do public outreach events, all the kind of public facing stuff that JQI does ultimately comes through me. Of course, there's been a lot of positive sort of talk about JQI already. So you're making me blush the whole time. But it would be so cool to see something like that kind of emerge in New Mexico. I met my wife there at the physics department in the old crummy building. And so we're always, hoping to get back someday. But yeah, it's really great to see everyone. And that spirit of curiosity that everyone was talking about earlier, and kind of everyone, all the senior folks just being very approachable, I think. That was a great part of the culture. And I would say keep it up.
Thank you. Dr. Scott.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I'm Andrew Scott. I was a postdoc in quantum information and quantum chaos in Carl's group between 2001 2004. After UNM, I took up further research positions in Canada and Australia. I then moved to London and into financial services, and where I worked in algorithmic trading and then risk modeling for a foreign exchange settlement utility called CLS. I'm now a senior data scientist at a tech startup called Meta that provides billing and pricing services to other SaaS businesses in the cloud. Yeah, still a mathematician, so working on the same kind of stuff, just in different places.
Thank you. Dr. Munoz.
Hi, everyone. So I was a PhD student at UNM working with Ivan from 2017 to 2022. And after graduation, I moved to Sherbrooke, Quebec in Canada, where I'm still arm for a postdoc in a group where we develop theoretical and computational tools for modeling superconducting devices for different applications in quantum information science. And we also offer theoretical support to several experimental groups all over the place. And I would like to say that a big highlight for me from my time at UNM was the feeling of community among all the students and postdocs with whom I had the opportunity to share my time, several of which are here in the panel. In particular, with Pablo Poggi, who was also a postdoc at the time, who had a very big influence throughout my PhD work, from whom you will hear, I don't know, in a couple of minutes.
Thank you. Dr. Ninant.
Hi, so I'm Ninat or Tom. So I was at UNM from 2011 to 2018, and I was Carl's PhD student working on quantum phase spaces. And I really have to thank Carl, Ivan, and other faculties and secret staff at UNM who really create a really wonderful experience and education. Now, I've been a faculty for a couple of years at Institute for Fundamental Study, which is a small research / teaching institute at Naresuan University in Thailand. Well, and Ivan's and Carl's lecture notes have saved me a lot of headache preparing for lectures, so thank you for that too, I think. And I'm also a part of National Quantum Consortium effort in Thailand, and which somehow means that sometimes I have to deviate from the kind of fundamental research that I had previously done to do things like quantum machine learning, for example, which I guess is an interesting experience as one of just a few quantum information theorists in Thailand right now. Okay.
Thank you. Dr. Flamia.
Hi, I'm Steve. I graduated in 2007 with a PhD with Carl. I'm now a professor of computer science at Virginia Tech. I'm the director for the Center for Quantum Computing there. I'm also working for a startup. So a startup called Phasecraft that started in London, and now they've expanded recently to the US. I'm the head of the US office. I'm based here in Washington, D.C. Yeah, and I also want to just express just as much gratitude as I can. I don't even know how to express how grateful I am to have gone through UNM. I definitely would not be where I am if I had gone pretty much anywhere else. The atmosphere there was fantastic. All of the fellow students and postdocs were amazing, including there are some I don't see on here that are just really brilliant people. Brian Easton, Andrew Silberfarb, I don't see on here. Yeah, so yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for everything that you've done for me.
Dr. Nielsen.
Hi, everybody. It's really lovely to see so many familiar and many unfamiliar. I was at UNM from 1995 to 1998 doing a PhD on, well, at that point it was just quantum information broadly with Carl. Like Steve, it's been this really tremendous excitement the whole time. And there was also, I think the word I think of when I think of Carl and Ivan created at the time, there was creative excitement and there was an attitude of integrity, both personal integrity, but also there was this sort of what I think of as integrity to nature. It was this sort of bending over backwards to be close to science and to physics. At the moment, what I'm doing is actually I'm on a round the world research trip, researching a new book that will be on a subject to be determined. It will involve the relationship and technology and humanity, but I don't quite know what it is.
Thank you, Michael. Dr. Grandowski.
Hi, Evan. So my name is John Grandolski. I did my PhD at UNM from 94 to 2000. I guess I was Ivan's first student. Did a postdoc at Los Alamos and continued on as staff there for about 10 years. At that point, I switched fields from quantum information to high energy density physics. And then I switched labs over to Lawrence Livermore Lab. So that's where I currently work. I've had a chance. So I have the chance to work on the recent ignition experiments, which is a concept, a fusion energy concept, where you're able to get more energy from the fusion than you are from the input laser energy. So that's exciting. Also work on the largest classical computers. Looking forward to those quantum computers. Now work on the classical computers. But my current job is very much my PhD experience in that it's computational theoretical support for experiments, which is what I like doing then, and I continue to like doing now. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Moore, leader on.
Hi, it's so great to see everyone here. I'm Gopi Krishnan Muralidharan, commonly known as Gopi. I was Ivan's 20th PhD student from 2013 to 2020. I went on to do a postdoc at Los Alamos with Rolando Soma in quantum algorithms. And now I'm in Sydney, another Australia connection, doing another postdoc, more promoting neutral atoms and doing quantum algorithms and quantum error correction now. I want to say UNM and QNMI, the network and influence is so large that most of my career I have worked with people connected to UNM. I started my research with Anil Shahji in India for my undergrad and master's. Then I went for PhD, Rolando for postdoc, and now Gavin Brennan for another postdoc. So I've been with UNM people all my career. And what people have already told, archive review, constructive criticisms like color choices by Travis or other things for presentation have really helped me. And it's when I started co-supervising students now that I realize I have so much things that I've learned at UNM that I can pass on to others and have really shaped my research and also presentation skills and other things. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Dr. Tata.
Hello. Hi, I'm Animesh Datta. I'm a professor of physics at the University of Warwick in the UK. I was with Carl from 2003 to 2008. So I'm very, very pleased to see all the people from, I don't know, Renee and Shoini and Joe, all the way to, I don't know, Seth and yeah, Steve. I don't see Brian here. Yeah. So yes, I worked with Carl on quantum computing and quantum sensing, and I've been doing similar things since. After Carl, I went to the UK, came to the UK at Imperial College and at Oxford, and now I lead my own group at the University of Warwick. I think, yeah, I mean, I obviously learned a lot of physics and then quantum information and other things from Carl and Ivan and other people at UNM, but I think something maybe more important, which I think Mike Nielsen mentioned, which is the integrity that at least I felt was inculcated into me, and then the diligence we were expected to put in to the research that we did, I think is probably something I cherish even more than the technical skills that I learned at UNM. So I'm certainly grateful to Carl and Ivan and UNM for inducting me in that. I also see Anil. Hi, Anil. Yeah. Nick Manikuchi as well. Hello. Yeah, so many people. Maybe Ivan, you can share the recording with us at some point.
I will. Yeah. Thank you, Animesh. Dr. Baldwin.
Hi, everybody. I'm Charlie. I was at UNM from 2011 to 2016, I think. And after that, I moved up to NIST Boulder. And now I work under another UNM alum, Dave Hayes, at Quantinuum benchmarking trapped ion quantum computers. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. It's great to see a lot of people I overlapped with. It's been too long, probably. Need to reconnect with a lot of people. Hopefully, some of you will be at Squint in Broomfield in a month. Great to see everybody there.
Thank you. Dr. Brennan.
Hi, yeah. So I was with Ivan, his second PhD student back in 1996 to 2001, when we were working on one of the first architectures for quantum computing. Also did a couple summers in Los Alamos working with the Ion Trip group up there. And now I'm currently professor at Macquarie University in Sydney, Australia. Still working on quantum computing. And yeah, it's just something I've noticed that there's sort of a school of quantum thought that I can notice from coming out of New Mexico. Like I miss the culture there of open debate, a good dose of BS detection, and also, of course, Bayesianism. So I think we've managed to convert many Australians and those over here into that kind of way of thinking, and it's great to see everyone here.
Thank you. Dr. Ray.
Yeah, hi everybody. It's really great to see you all, even though virtually. So I'm Shayuni Ray. I was at UNM as a NSF FRHTP postdoctoral fellow from 2017 to 2020. Yeah, as everyone said, it was one of the funnest time, and that was my introduction to quantum information. And currently, I am a staff scientist at INQ. I develop applications and algorithms on quantum computers. And thanks to Ivan and Carl for giving me that opportunity to start my career in quantum information. So everything that I'm contributing now is part of what I learned at UNM. So thank you very much. I'm very excited to see what happens at QNM.
Thank you. Let's see who's next. Dr. Poggi.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm Paolo Pocci. I was in UNM for 5 years, from 2018 to 2023. First as a postdoc and then as a research professor. So I was lucky to be there for quite some time, and I had the opportunity to work with Ivan, Paul, the other faculty, and the postdocs on quantum simulation and quantum control and quantum antibody physics. And really the highlight for me was being able to work with one of Pickwicks' greatest assets, which are the amazing students that SICWIC have. And so I'm very grateful to have had that opportunity. I'm currently a research fellow at the University of Strathclyde in Glasgow in the UK. And I agree with everyone that the atmosphere of excitement and the values that we learned at SICWIC is something that we just naturally try to bring into, everywhere we go and the places where we end up working. So yeah, it's great to see everyone. And I echo what Chris said, that I'm very excited about the QNM Institute as well, because it will give other people the opportunity that we had to be a postdoc or a student in such a great place.
Thank you. Dr. Cheney.
Hello, everyone. I am Karthik. I was a PhD student under Ivan. I was his 21st student. And I got my PhD in 2022. And currently, I'm working as a postdoc at Polytechnic Montreal. And I've been working on interaction of light with nonlinear crystals. Yeah, so I'm very grateful for my time at UNM. The community was really great, and I met many wonderful people. Yeah, and great to see you all.
Thank you. Let's see who's next. Dr. Mischuk.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brian. I was officially at UNM as a graduate student of Ivan's from, I think, 2006 to 2010. But I actually started working with Ivan Group a few years earlier than that. I was working with the experimental collaborators, actually on, I think, Renee Stock's, the experimental side of Renee's work, before I decided that experimental physics was too much work for me. So I switched into theory. And so I transferred to UNM, and I finished my PhD in Ivan's group, getting a PhD in optics, doing work in general on quantum control of neutral atoms. I currently work at a company called ANSYS. I'm a software engineer working on software that gets used to model things like telescopes and microscopes and cameras and all kinds of sort of classical geometrical optics effects. And like everybody else, I think I have fond memories of UNM and the people that I got to work with while I was here. Yeah, had a great time.
Thank you. Let's see who's next. Dr. Minicucci.
Yes. Hello, I'm Nick Minicucci, and I worked with Carl on an honors thesis project for my undergrad degree in 2000. And that was a project in BS detection. We worked on throwing cold water on liquid state NMR quantum computation. So developing a classical model for that. I now run my own research group at RMIT University in Melbourne. And we call ourselves Kermit. We just put a QU in front of RMIT and call it Kermit. And so Ben Bergiola is one of our most influential people in the group. He's been there for a while. And I second what Mike Nielsen said about integrity. I think that's probably the biggest thing that I got from my time at UNM: integrity to nature, and also an operational approach. That's really important to what I do. Other things I got that are really important to me: LaTeX pedantry. That's something I can thank Carl for, and all of my group can thank Carl for, and a 5-hour group meeting. That's something we also do, and really love. So that works well for us. So yeah, I have a lot of fond memories from UNM and my time there. I also spent 6 months during my PhD there as well, doing a second project. So I've had ties to UNM for a long time. Oh, and I should have said this at the beginning: I'm a New Mexico native. Thank you.
Good, thanks, Nick. Let's see, who have we not gotten to? Dr. Omanakutan.
Hi, nice to see you all. My name is Shiva. I work with Ivan. I am a very recent graduate. I graduated in May 2024. And currently I'm working in JP Morgan Chase on quantum error correction. And yeah, I don't have a lot to say because I just graduated, so I cannot say anything about memories at all. So good to see you all.
Thank you. Let's see, Dr. Zhao.
Hi. Unmuted, yeah. Great. My name's Andrew. I was a PhD student at UNM from 2018 to basically beginning of this year. I just graduated essentially. I worked with Akimasa Miyake, working on things like quantum algorithms, studying how we can simulate like many body physics and chemistry, and kind of learning theory of quantum systems as well. Yeah, right now I'm a postdoc at San Diego National Labs. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there in person with you guys, but my time at New Mexico was really, really great. I think that really shaped a lot of my life as far as I can tell, and a lot of the future where I'm going to go. Yeah, it was a really fantastic experience, and wouldn't have changed anything about it.
Thank you. Hey, Dr. Hankin.
Yeah. So I graduated with a PhD from UNM in 2014. I benefited greatly from the collaboration with Sandia. So my PhD was with Grant Biederman. I was working on basically trapping single lines with optical tweezers and doing Rydberg-based interactions. My experience there was great. I worked with a lot of great staff scientists, Grant included, but also Paul Perazzoli, Peter Schwint, Yuanyu Zhao, and James Chow was there for a year. After that, I moved on and learned how to trap ions at NIST in Boulder, where I worked in the Wineland group with David Librant and Alumni clock. Currently, I'm with continuing to work with trapped ions at Quantinuum, working on trapped ion quantum computing. Yeah, and that has been going well. I've worked exclusively with the hardware. I would have loved to be there in person today. Unfortunately, I couldn't be. I'm currently in Japan trying to get one of our hardware systems up and running that Riken purchased. My experience at UNM was great though. I think one of the main things I got out of it was learning how to do great experimental physics, but also learning how to talk to theorists and collaborate closely with them on stuff. That's not something you get for free.
Thank you, Aaron. Let's see, who got Dr. Rakolia.
Hi, my name's Akash. I was at UNM 2009 to 2015, working also with Grant Biederman on a quantum sensing project, actually, not quantum computing, so for atom interferometry. And I kind of continued on that line. So now I'm currently working at Vector Atomic, trying to commercialize quantum sensors. And my current role there is Director of Software Engineering. I'm kind of running the software team, but I still fundamentally see myself as a physicist at heart. I kind of am in that magic space between the physicists and the engineers. I like to think of myself as a translator. And I think I learned a lot of that kind of, more so interested on like the engineering side of things rather than physics. Like we know how to do the physics, how to do the, how to actually get the engineering done. And I think I learned a lot of that at Sandia through the UNM collaboration. So thank you for everything.
Let's see, we have a few left. Soon to be Dr. Compost.
Hi, everyone. I'm Julie, so I actually don't quite have a PhD yet, but I was able to do my undergraduate thesis with Professor Deutsch at UNM. I graduated in 2020, so I'm currently a fourth year PhD candidate at Duke University. I'm working on quantum error correction with Professor Kenneth Brown. And yeah, no, things are going great. And I also did some I did some internships at Sandia while I was an undergrad, so I was able to learn a lot from them. And once I finished at UNM, I was able to get a position during my gap year to work on some quantum error correction at Sandia as well. So for those experiences, I probably wouldn't be at Duke. So thanks for all of that.
Thank you, Julie. And masquerading as Menikuchi, Dr. Coombs.
Hi, yeah, my name's Josh Coombs. I was a postdoc at CQuick from I think 2010 to 2014, and I just moved from Colorado to Melbourne, Australia to start a new position. And I think at CQuick I really enjoyed two things. I think we heard a lot about the integrity, but I also really appreciated that there was a broad interest in quantum science, but science in general. So it wasn't just ultra focused on one thing. And I think that's very rare to find in quantum groups around the world. People are very focused on one particular thing. So I love that. I think another thing that was really unique about CQuick and the culture created by Carl and Ivan and Akimasa and Elohim is that students are trained really well. So there's a lot of attention to detail given on students learning how to present, on how to write papers, and how to conduct themselves in a scientific environment. And I think if you've worked in other places, you know that that's actually very rare. And so I think we're all very lucky. And I wish I could be there, and great to hear and see so many of you.
I think we got, does anyone need to unmute who we haven't called on? I think we did. We want to give a round of applause to all of our.
So. We're going to wrap up the session because it's time for coffee break, but I just want to say sort of an emotional experience for Ivan and the rest of the secret faculty. It's like being able to turn around the painter, being able to turn around and see one's life work spread out in front of you, except every painting took 5 or 6 years. And every person is special. Thank you all very much for participating.
And I just want to add one word of additional thanks. Many, as you saw, people are visiting us from around the world, some of whom it's 3 a.m., some of whom it's, I don't know, what is it in Europe right now? So this is a lot of devotion. We really thank everyone for making the time to be a part of this. It's really a real pleasure and a real honor. So